Hey guys, this week we are working on a trolls cake featuring Poppy. I do have to mention this was inspired by a design the client sent over. I did a Google reverse image search but came up empty-handed. I did, however, change the design slightly as the original looked to have been all buttercream, so I changed it here and there to make it a little more unique. I'm starting with a 7-inch round cake that's already been ganached, and I've only covered the outer edge in white sugar paste. I didn't get to film this part, however I've done it lots in other tutorials. Firstly, I'm taking some gel colour. This is magenta and I'm placing it into a bowl with water. To make it more lilac, I've added some white dust, which you can see has made it much paler. With a wide brush, I'm just swiping this halfway down the cake. Then I've done the same with some pink, however I think this was airbrush colour mixed with white dust. And I'm adding this to the top section and slowly pulling it in to merge it with the purple. Keep your brush in one place on the cake and continually spin it so you don't get stop and start marks. You should end up with a watercolour effect. Now cover your board using the toilet seat method. The full tutorial is always in the description box. Doing it this way cleans up the bottom edge of your cake and also uses less sugar paste. Now take some greaseproof paper and trace the design that you want on the front. This straight line here was an indicator of how tall my cake was, so I know Poppy's hair will stick up far beyond the top of the cake. I'm then going to flip it over and draw on the back with pencil using the same outline. Lay this onto some white paste you've rolled out with Tylo powder added. This will help it set up a bit firmer. You can either go around it with the Dresden tool to leave an impression, like I do in most videos. However, something with a bit more detail like this, I tend to use a pencil to transfer the pencil lines off the back so I can see what I'm doing more clearly. Now we are going to paint it with gel paste and water. I first go in and just block out the areas of the base colours. So I'm doing Poppy's pink hair, her lighter pink skin and blue dress. Once all my colours are laid down, I then go back in with deeper versions of those colours to add outlines and shadows, and then lighter white dust to add highlights. Just use a picture as reference to see where the shadows would be. Sorry, you do get to see my roots a lot. Once I get in the painting zone, I forget the camera's there. Because your outlines are already there, it should be a bit just like colouring in, or colour by numbers. Once you are done, it's now time to carefully cut her out. With a nice, sharp scalpel, closely follow the outlines of Poppy, trying to be gentle around any areas that stick out, such as her legs and arm. Do not rush this bit, you've just spent ages painting it. Once she is fully cut out, set it on a foam mat to dry out. Whilst that's happening, dampen the top of your cake with water and lay over some green paste. Smooth the top down and with a scalpel, cut an organic wavy edge all the way around. Dampen the underneath of the waves and use the palm of your hand to stick them down, and then clean up the bottom cut edge just by tapping and smoothing with your fingers until it all looks nice and neat. Now Poppy has been drying overnight. As the green wavy paste sticks out a little, we want to even the cake out to match, so just place a blob of white paste near where her body will be. Now you can place Poppy on this blob and also stick her hair to the green waves so that one part doesn't stick out further than the other. Despite her drying all night, she could potentially still lose her hair on a bumpy, warm car journey, so I'm placing a kebab stick down at the back to help support it and keep it in position. Same idea with her hand. We are placing in a ball of white paste to help support it so it doesn't flop or snap off. You shouldn't be able to see any of these elements from the front. After years of saying, no, it'll be fine, only to be proved wrong with humid weather or a car journey, I now always overcompensate. For grass detail, roll out spikes of green paste, group them together and cut the bottom flat. Yep, you've guessed it, we're going to use a clump to support her legs sticking out. Place these all around the base of the cake, folding the grass however you like. It's my favourite stuff, foam core. I'm just drawing around a 6-inch drum to get my curve shape. And then, where the circle is at its widest at either side, I'm drawing a line straight down to create an arch. Cut this out with a nice sharp scalpel and then do the same with a smaller circle for the inside until you have your rainbow shape. With this 5mm foam core, you can easily insert 2 kebab sticks to use as support up inside the foam and just trim them down to size. Dampen the surface with piping gel and start rolling out your sausages of colour, laying them on one by one. You could of course make this purely out of sugar paste sausages, letting it dry for a few days, but I prefer the safety of the foam core and how quick it is to put together, rather than leaving something for days to dry, which could still potentially break on the day due to humidity. I would be so annoyed. Gently push the rainbow down on top of your cake for a very effective and cute topper. Taking some white paste, roll dips along a sausage and flatten it out to create fun little cloud shapes. Make these in various sizes, overlapping them at the bottom of your rainbow. Then I've added the age, which is just a purple circle with the number 4 inside, made using click sticks. Again, I have a full tutorial on how to use those, which I'll leave linked below too. For cartoon style flowers, roll 5 chunky discs and overlap each one. When you get to the last one, tuck it underneath the first one to continue the overlap pattern. Then simply heavily indent the centre of each petal for a chunky, playful flower. Arrange these on the top and base of your cake, adding in leaves, which are just flattened spikes, for extra detail. Everything should just stick with water. Then add squashed balls of yellow to the centres. I've had the click sticks out again for the name. They're just super quick and an effective way to get the job done. Lastly, add smaller flowers to the board using a plunger cutter and we're done. The longest part will be painting Poppy. Everything else comes together a bit quicker. I mean, you could make this even faster by printing Poppy out on edible sugar paper, if you're daunted by the painting. Hope you enjoyed this one, it certainly is an explosion of colour. Let me know what you think in the comments below and don't forget you can find everything I use in the description box. Thanks guys, see you next week.